You've probably heard the term a million times by now, data analytics. It's the magic behind your Netflix queue, it's how Amazon gets packages to your door so fast, but what does it really mean? Well, today we're going to cut through all the buzzwords and show you how this field actually works and how it's quietly shaping, well, just about everything we do.
So, before we dive any deeper, let's tackle the big question on the screen. What even is data? Think about it. Companies are sitting on absolute mountains of this stuff. Every click you make, every single purchase, every login. But on its own, in its raw form, it's not very useful. It's kind of just digital noise. And that's exactly where data analytics comes in. So how do we go from all that chaos to actual clarity? The best way to think about it is like you're putting together a giant puzzle. In this first part, we're going to look at how an analyst takes all those jumbled pieces and fits them together to show us the bigger picture.
Okay, so at its core, this is the textbook definition. Data analytics is all about a process. You take raw data, you analyze it, and you pull out something genuinely useful from it. The whole point, and this is the important part, is to find an insight that helps a company make smart, data-backed decisions instead of just, guessing.
And honestly, this jigsaw puzzle analogy, it's pretty much perfect. Imagine a company's data is just a 1,000-piece puzzle dumped out of the box. A single piece doesn't tell you much, right? A data analyst is the person who comes in, patiently sorts through all those pieces, finds the corners, and starts assembling them into a picture that actually tells a story.
And that gets us to the real heart of it, which this quote sums up perfectly. It's all about finding the patterns. It's not just about organizing data, it's about spotting the hidden connections. Like, a pattern might show that customers who buy, say, a coffee maker are super likely to buy coffee filters within the next week. That kind of insight is pure gold for a business.
Okay, finding patterns, got it. But so what? How does that actually help a business in the real world? In this next section, Data in the Wild, we're going to look at exactly where this whole process makes a real, tangible difference.
When you get right down to it, the impact really comes down to 3 huge benefits. First, when you have clear insights, you make faster and way smarter decisions. That, in turn, helps you spot where you're wasting money, which means you can lower your cost. And finally, when you truly understand what your customers want, you can build new, innovative products they'll absolutely love. It's a really powerful cycle.
So let's get super concrete here. You're seeing this stuff in action every single day. You just might not realize it. Retailers use it to predict what you're going to buy next. Your bank uses it to spot a weird charge on your card and flag it as fraud. It's the engine that powers those personalized ads you see, and it's the secret to making sure a package can get from a warehouse to your house in just a day or two. All right, so we've got the what and the where down, but what about the who? Who is the person that's actually doing all this work? Let's take a look at what a day in the life of a data analyst is really like. You might think it's all about numbers, but honestly, a huge chunk of the job is all about strategy. Analysts work side by side with different teams in a company. They help take these big, fuzzy questions like, hey, why are our sales down this month? And turn them into specific tasks that can actually investigate with data. They're always on the hunt for ways to make the business better. And then, of course, you've got the technical side of things. This is the real hands-on keyboard work. It means pulling data from a bunch of different places, cleaning it up, and sometimes writing code to make that whole process faster. And once they find something interesting, they use tools like Tableau or Power BI to build charts and graphs that make their findings super easy for anyone to understand.
Okay, so now that we know who an analyst is, let's pull back the curtain on how they work. Because it's not just random exploration. There's a very clear, structured process they follow to get from a simple question to a powerful answer.
This 5-step process you see here, it's basically the game plan for almost any data project. It all starts with a really clear, well-defined question. From there, you go out and collect the data you need, clean it all up, and then run your analysis. But that last step, step 5, might be the most important. Interpreting what you found and sharing it as a story that people can actually use to make a change.
Let's zoom in for a second on step 2, collecting the data. Analysts are usually pulling from 2 main buckets. First, there's internal data. That's all the info a company already has, like your past purchases. Then there's external data, which comes from outside sources. Think public info from the government, Google Trends, you name it. The real magic happens when you combine the two. Now, if you ask any data analyst what the hardest part of their job is, a lot of them will point to step 3, cleaning the data. It's famous for taking up a ton of time, and it is absolutely critical. There's an old saying, garbage in, garbage out, and it's 100% true here. If your data is messy, with errors or missing info, your results will be totally useless. Seriously, getting this step right is everything.
So after hearing all that, maybe you're thinking, okay, this is cool. What does it actually take to do this job? Well, let's break down the key skills you need to really succeed in this field.
It really comes down to two sides of the brain, right? Two different toolkits. On the one hand, you've got the hard skills. You've got to be comfortable with math and stats, and you need to know programming languages like SQL for pulling data and Python for analyzing it. But the soft skills are just as crucial. Having a curious mind, loving a good puzzle, and, this is a big one, being an excellent communicator.
And I really want to zero in on communication for a sec, because this is the skill that separates a good analyst from an amazing one. Think about it. You can find the most groundbreaking insight in the world, but if you can't explain it in a simple, compelling way to people who aren't data experts, then that insight just dies on your computer. Your job isn't just to find the answer. It's to tell a story that makes people want to take action.
At the end of the day, that's what data analytics is all about. It's about being a detective and a storyteller. It's about looking at a giant spreadsheet of what seems like random numbers and finding the hidden narrative inside. It's about uncovering the one story that can help a business move forward. So I guess the real question is, what story is your data just waiting to tell?